Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, March 22nd, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. Over a month ago, Norwood High School alum Kim Reginini lost her wedding rings while at a rest stop in Connecticut. Kim and her husband Peter, also a Norwood High alum, were on the way home from a vacation when the tragedy occurred.
Prior to getting out at the rest stop, I had taken both of my rings off in the car and placed them on my lap on top of my coat to put some lotion on because my hands were dry. And I forgot that they were in my lap. I forgot to put them back on my finger. And when I got out of the car at the rest stop, they rolled right off of my coat and they fell unfortunately onto the ground. We didn't see them, I didn't hear them fall, and that was that.
After unknowingly leaving the rest stop and the rings behind, Kim and Pete drove an hour and a half before realizing the rings were missing.
But after we had tore the car apart and saw that the rings were not in there, my feeling was like absolute dread, I was very upset.
Yeah, she was very upset and I was just like, all right, let's see what we can do. I'm gonna call the police, I'm gonna call the rest stop, do whatever we can. I was just trying, I'm not gonna panic because she was really panicking, but.
The voice of reason right here.
Yeah.
Once the realization set in that the rings were missing, Kim and Pete contacted the local and state police, local pawn shops, and took to social media. After not hearing anything for over 3 weeks, they started to lose hope. Then one day, they received a phone call from Sergeant Derry of the Connecticut State Police.
And then last Tuesday, I got a call from him, and he just said to me, "Kim, I found the rings." And I think I said to him, "No, you didn't." And he was just like, "Yeah."
After reviewing surveillance footage, Sergeant Derry was able to identify an individual that seemed to pick up an object off the ground at the same pump the rings were lost. After tracking down the person via their license plate, they returned the rings with no hesitation. The next day, Kim and Pete drove to Connecticut to reunite with the lost rings. They wanted to thank everyone from the police officers on the case to friends and family and to those sharing their post on Facebook. Catch the full interview on Facebook and the NCM bulletin board in the upcoming weeks. The Boston Bruins Pajama Drive has come to an end and the results are in. The Norwood community was able to donate over 2,000 pajamas, but unfortunately did not reach its goal of beating the town of Bourne. Let's send it down to the library where Katie Teig has more on the results.
So this year our goal was at first to collect 500 PJs, and once our wonderful town manager Tony Mizuko got involved, we raised our goal to 2,000 PJs. We exceeded our goal this year and raised 2,538 pairs of PJs. We also had a really fun competition with the town of Bourne. We said we were going to challenge them for the #1 top collector spot in Massachusetts. And unfortunately, Bourne just pulled some magic out of their back pocket. They collected over 3,000 pairs of PJs. So it was a heartbreaking loss, but ultimately the kids of the Commonwealth win. And Massachusetts libraries collected over 13,000 pairs of PJs for kids in need. So our friendly competition was able to shine a light on something that was really amazing, and we're super proud to be a part of that. And we just wanted to say thank you so much to all the residents of Norwood, to all of our fellow town departments who participated, to Tony Mizuko, Selectman Paul Bishop and Bill Plasko. They were really huge champions of this cause, and we could not have done this drive without their help. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Norwood.
Thanks, Katie, and thank you to all who participated in this wonderful drive. Just another example of how Norwood comes together in times of need. Stay tuned after this break for the League of Women's Voters Candidates Night and for this week's Living Local. And later in the show, we will get an update on the Avalon Norwood project and the new book return at the Morrill Memorial Library.
Living Local is a new program coming to Norwood Community Media that highlights businesses and events here in Norwood. Everything you need to know about eating local, shopping local, exercising local, or even creating local, you'll find it right here on NCM's newest program, Living Local. You'll get an inside look into what makes each business unique. Only on Norwood Community Media, your home for all things Norwood.
Welcome back. The League of Women Voters held their annual Candidates Night in Memorial Hall Monday night. The Candidate Night gives residents running for an elected office a chance to introduce themselves to the community and answer questions posed by both the League and community members. League President Courtney Rowe Rogers opened the Norwood League of Women Voters annual Candidates Night with a few words.
The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan, political organization founded in 1920, the year the 19th Amendment was ratified and women won their battle for the right to vote. The League for Women Voters works to promote informed, active citizen participation in government, to influence public policy through education and advocacy, and to take positions on substantive issues after careful study, which may or may not be of legislative concern. The League's larger vision is a democracy where every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the confidence to participate, as well as a belief in the power of women to create a more perfect democracy. The Norwood chapter of the League achieves our mission in different ways. We sponsor public forums each year on chosen topics of interest to provide residents with information and opportunities to meet with various officials to make their concerns and questions known. The League does not specifically endorse candidates for election, but we will provide information about candidates to help serve that piece of our mission regarding an educated and informed public.
Debbie Winnick of the Needham League of Women Voters moderated the event, asking a series of questions allowing each candidate to explain how they would represent the town in their respective offices. Thursday morning, a box truck struck the bridge on Moore Street, causing a temporary road closure. Norwood Fire responded to the scene and released this statement. NA2 and Engine 4 off on Moore Street with a box truck versus bridge. No injuries reported. Truck is heavily damaged. Moore Street temporarily closed between Pleasant Street and Short Street while vehicle is removed. The road was reopened later that day. Now let's take a look at this week's Living Local.
If learning an instrument or playing in a band has always been something you wanted to do, then Bandgate School of Music in Norwood is the spot for you. Tucked behind custom art and framing on Central Street, Bandgate School of Music offers a wide range of instrument lessons.
We do music lessons privately. We do, guitar, bass, drums, piano, voice, ukulele, mandolin, saxophones, woodwinds, all woodwind instruments, and recorder. We really focus on getting kids to play together. We have an ensemble program. We focus on performance, which is a big part of it. No one has to perform. We just encourage it.
Owner Nick Vecchio started his music teaching career with a company called Daddy's Junkie Music. After years of teaching, he realized that Norwood and the surrounding towns were missing stores that offered ensemble programs.
Now, while we already did put our kids into bands and play at our concerts, we didn't have a program that sort of put kids in a band, or adults in a band for that matter, we do that too, and had them rehearse once a week and then put on a concert at the end of that. So I started to put that together, and for a little while we rented a space over in Dedham Square. I created the name Band Gig Join a Band Program. That's what we were called. And we rented in Dedham Square for about a year and a half. And then we ended up moving here to Norwood in this space because, it's kind of a story, but my wife Julie and I own Custom Art Framing and Gallery on Central Street here in Norwood. And we're located in the back of that. My wife was looking to move from her Washington Street location. This location became available, and it just worked out beautifully that the back part of the building could be used for what I needed. So rather than be in Dedham, I was able to move my school here.
For Vecchio, having a business here in Norwood is special for many reasons.
Well, for me, anything Norwood's cool for me. I grew up here, it's my hometown, so I'm really proud that I have a business here in the town, and one that does something as positive as it does. We're all about music, and whether they're kids or adults. We do fundraisers a couple times a year, and we raise funds for Music Drives Us, which is Ernie Bach's foundation, which keeps music in schools. So yeah, this is just, this is a dream for me. I love my job.
It is very important for Vecchio to give back to the town he grew up in.
Well, naturally, we do Norwood Day, and we always put on a concert here at our location in Norwood on that same day, and we cook burgers and dogs for anybody who wants to come by and listen to some music and have a bite to eat, all free. We try to do the 4th of July parade. There's nothing more fun than being a band on a float.
The employees of Bandgate pride themselves on being one of the top music schools in the area. That reputation comes from their passion for the job and for the students.
We are a music school. This is our catchphrase, is that we're a music school doing it right for you, your family, and your community. And we are exactly that. We are all about you guys. And we get that back. It's for selfish reasons. I do it because I enjoy it. But yeah, that's what you want to know. We're here. We treat you like family, and maybe that's a good thing or not. I don't know. Some people don't want to be treated like family, but we will. We just have a really nice situation. My staff is awesome. They mirror me an awful lot in the sense that they care about their students. They love what they're doing. Yeah, we just love what we do.
If you are interested in taking music lessons, Band Gig is easy to contact.
Oh, very easy. Just go on the internet, band-gig.com, or you can call us at 781-686-1526.
Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your local government. And I'm your host, Krista McDonald.
Thanks for joining me for another update.
It was a hard-fought battle at Murrayfield.
Everybody you know and you like and you pal around with and you hang out with is here.
Your home.
Your home.
Your home. Your home.
Your home for all things Norwood.
Welcome back to Norwood News. The Zoning Board of Appeals held 3 hearings this week, including 1369 Boston Providence Turnpike, 79 Spruce Road, and 5 Walters Road. The representative referred to the property of 5 Walters Road as unsalvageable, proposing to tear down the existing property and build a new development that meets the current codes.
I was up there today. Actually, I've never been there in my life. I was born in Norwood Hospital. I had no idea where I was. I was a little nervous in the streets, The place is a dump.
Yeah, it is.
It really was terrible. It really was. And it's hard to say you would have, or anybody on the board would have a comment against tearing it down and doing something new.
The Zoning Board of Appeals will hold their next public hearing on April 2nd. The Board of Selectmen met with Senior Center Executive Director Kerry McCarthy on Tuesday night to discuss monthly activities at the Senior Center. Travis Farley, Superintendent of the Rec Department, also submitted his department activity report to the Selectmen. At 7:30, attorneys from Outback Steakhouse and David Spiegel met with the board after continuing a show cause hearing from November 13th. The hearing was to determine the fate of the liquor license that is associated with the former restaurant.
Show cause hearing, Outback Steakhouse of Florida, LLC, DBA Outback Steakhouse. Okay. Failure to provide the public with the services contemplated by the license. Outback closed effective January 16, 2018. This is continued. Our hearing is continued from November 13.
My client, Outback Steakhouse, has admittedly been closed since January of last year. I understand that the notice of the initial hearing, I think it was in June of last year, has been continued, so here we are today. Mr. Spiegel, where Mr. Spiegel was going to purchase the license. The contract provided that Mr. Spiegel was supposed to file an application by today, March 19th. He has not done that, this is my understanding. And pursuant to the contract that was entered into by the parties, both parties agreed if he had not done so, had not used his diligent efforts to file an application by today, that both parties would send representatives and request a continuance. So I think I speak on behalf of my brother here that we're both requesting a continuance of this violation hearing.
I move that we continue this for 30 days.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second on the motion. Anything further on the motion? 7:30, 5 weeks from tonight. Okay, the motion is for a 35-day extension or continuance of the show cause hearing. Did I get that right? And
yes.
Will you accept the amended
Yes, sir.
second on that? Okay, so we have a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
4-1 in favor.
The next Board of Selectmen meeting will be Tuesday, March 26th. The Conservation Commission meeting began with a continued hearing on 84 Moore Street project. During the 15-minute discussion, the Commission covered the drainage basin, employee parking, and the soil grade. The Commission voted to accept the plans with the condition to review the revised plans at the next meeting. The next projects discussed were projects at 290 Vanderbilt Ave, 100 River Ridge Road, and the new Light Department building on Access Road. To end the meeting, the Commission discussed the idea of an apple orchard outside their community garden off of Mylod Street. The next meeting for the Conservation Commission will be April 3rd. On Thursday evening, the Capital Outlay Committee met to review and discuss upcoming capital projects across all departments in the town of Norwood. Examples included the MSBA School Department grant, general government projects, police and fire equipment and vehicle projects, and municipal lots. With the exception of the cemetery roof project, the committee voted to approve the upcoming capital projects to be put forth to the Finance Commission, then town meeting.
We have a motion on the floor made and seconded to approve the list of capital improvements for fiscal 20 that we will send to the Finance Commission, and ultimately, we will send it anyway, regardless of what the Finance Commission wants to do, we will send it to town meeting. This is what we're going to, okay? And the funding source is listed here as well. Okay, motion made and seconded. Anything further? Hearing none, put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. All right, thank you very much.
To watch complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch it on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break to find out what is happening in your schools.
Norwood. Here, we are chosen at birth. Our loyalties are predetermined. And our families, defined. Raised by the stories of those that came before us.
Here's a breakaway. Bill Norman, he's in back and score!
Fearlessly driven by the hope of what's to come. It chooses us. It defines us. And for us, it's everything. This is Norwood. And here, sports are in our blood.
Norwood Mustangs 2015 are the state Division I champs.
Welcome back. Now let's toss it over to our good friend Tim Rose to find out what is happening around the Norwood School District.
Hi guys, let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. Great news for our elementary schools this week. In honor of Norwood Hospital's 100th birthday, the Norwood Hospital donated 100 library books to each of the 5 elementary schools. The principals visited Norwood Hospital to meet the staff and President Salvatore Perla. Special thanks to Norwood Hospital's Lisa Tarabelli for organizing this donation and continuing a great community partnership. At the Callahan School, the PTA recently held a fundraiser where students thanked their teachers with a bouquet of flowers. Over 1,100 flowers were delivered to the staff. In case you didn't know, that is a lot of flowers. The students were all green last week and celebrated St. Patrick's Day in style. And the school held their annual spring book fair this week, and the PTA donated $500 worth of books to the library. Thank you, Callahan PTA. This week, the Cleveland School celebrated International Happiness Day on Wednesday. This day was established by the United Nations to promote worldwide well-being. It is celebrated in over 160 countries. The students at the Cleveland School made a school-wide chain with each student's statement about what makes them happy. The students are also doing a calendar daily mindful act during the month of March. On Wednesday, students wore the color yellow, smiley face pins, danced the Happy Day song, and celebrated being happy in school reading, writing, learning math, presenting projects, using technology, playing music, participating in open circle, and just being happy to work and play with friends. Cleveland School Secretary Megan Davey showed off a happy sunflower, and the staff also joined in on the fun. This week has been an exciting week at Prescott School. Kids have been excited to get back onto the playing field and run off some energy during recess without any snow. The McGuire Library and Prescott librarian Mrs. Donna Miller received a number of new books this week for kids to enjoy. In addition to the books donated by Norwood Hospital, the school purchased over 100 new books for all students to read. These titles have been an assortment of fiction and nonfiction texts from authors like Katherine Applegate, Brothers Grimm, and Jacqueline Jules. At Norwood High School, 44 engineering and robotics students volunteered their time to teach the 1st through 5th graders about engineering and robotics as part of the Cleveland Elementary School's annual Math and Science Night. This year's presentation featured a load status detection sensor invented by Honors Robotics 2 students in order to allow a vehicle to operate autonomously and react to changes in its load status. Honors Robotics 1 students presented their models of diabetic pumps designed to make life easier for type 1 diabetics. The 1st through 5th graders wrapped up the evening by driving the Pathfinder rover vehicles designed by NHS engineering students for the 2019 NHS Technology Olympics to be held in May. NHS student Soraya Adeli earned a spot in the Celtics-sponsored bias prevention program called the Playbook Initiative. Soraya, along with 14 other high school students around the state, was trained to facilitate an anti-bias workshop for middle school leaders, encouraging them to have meaningful dialogue and combat discrimination in their own communities. On Thursday, Soraya brought a crew of 18th, 8th graders to their partner school in Brockton, where she and her co-facilitator Deborah from Brockton put on an engaging and meaningful program for 40 middle schoolers. Lindsay Connolly, NHS English teacher and educator, said that Soraya and Deborah were incredibly poised, confident, and passionate and truly did their communities proud. Additionally, the student facilitators were invited by the Celtics to be recognized at their last game of the season. Watch the Celtics beat the Magic on April 7th, and hopefully we'll catch a glimpse of Soraya on the big screen. It wasn't just the Irish eyes that were smiling last week at the Little Mustangs preschool. The boys and girls all enjoyed building leprechaun traps in the Makerspace classroom, hunting for leprechaun footprints, playing rainbow counting games, and making St. Patrick's Day crafts. They also enjoyed a visit from McNamara's band, who paraded all the way from the senior center to sing some Irish songs. Caitlin Gagliard, a student from the Cleveland School who competes nationally in Irish step dancing competitions all over the world, came to the preschool and wowed the audience with her fancy footsteps. And she was not the only Irish step dancer of the day. Miss Michelle, their speech therapist, demonstrated her Irish step dancing skills as well. Mrs. Sandstrom from the Willet and Miss Sarah from Extended Day also joined the leprechaun party. Miss Michelle also brought her mom, Mrs. B, who played the traditional Irish drum. She let the boys and girls all try and play it. Miss Michelle's daughter Willa, a 2nd grader at the Balch School, stopped by to show us what she has been learning in her Irish step dancing classes. The McCarthys sure can dance. And as a grand finale, Miss Michelle taught all the preschoolers and teachers a dance called the Race of Mallow, which is a traditional Irish ceilidh dance. Everyone enjoyed learning some interesting things about the Irish culture last week at Little Mustangs. In library classes at the Balch School, students have been working on a makerspace project combining literature with Legos. Students in all grades have been building the 50 words Dr. Seuss used to write Green Eggs and Ham during library classes. The words were photographed and made into a bulletin board outside of the library. The Lego creations can also be viewed on a slideshow at the Balch Library Lessons Google site. Visit the site and have a look. And community readers have been seen at the Balch this week. Town officials, administrators, school principals, and even a state trooper took the time to visit and read to the students. Here in Ms. Davis's class, Assistant Superintendent Dr. Wyeth is reading Edward and the Emu by Sheena Knowles. Principal Diane Ferreira would like to say thank you for taking the time to read to the Balch students. At the Coakley Middle School, all 3 grades earned a hot cocoa bar. The CMS has been doing Fab Fun Fridays in the cafe this winter. Students are working to meet the CMS Mustang Pride expectations. Examples of these expectations are cleaning up after yourself, checking your table, being polite to staff, and signing in and out. Students are awarded points, and when they earn 16 points a week, they get a Fun Friday activity. Last week's was a hot cocoa bar sponsored by the CMS PTO and Honeydew Donuts. The CMS has a rock wall for gym class, and take a look at this picture. These students get an A in school spirit for making a CMS. Nice job, girls. CMS rocks. And finally, here are some pictures from this week's Positive Sign Thursday. Looks like the CMS students are ready to achieve their goals. Well, that's it for school news. For more information around the Norwood school system, please check the website, Facebook, and watch Norwood Community Media. Now let's go to Brian Dunn for the latest sports news.
Thanks, Tim, and welcome into the sports update for this week, the first one of the spring season. Tryouts for spring sports are underway and the schedule has been released, so make sure you go to norwoodmustangs.com to check out the full schedule. But on your screen is the opening matchup for each team. Boys volleyball is the first to get things started as they travel to Nipmuc Regional Friday, March 29th. Outdoor track and baseball begin their seasons Tuesday, April 2nd, with track taking on Westwood and baseball taking on Walpole, both on the road. The home opener for the girls lacrosse team is Wednesday, April 3rd versus Norton, and the boys lacrosse team will travel to Bellingham that day. Girls tennis gets their season underway April 8th at Dedham, and the boys tennis team will host Dedham that day as well. And softball will open up their season against Medfield Monday, April 10th. Stay tuned to NCM on social media for updates on when NCM's spring sports coverage will begin. Now, I know winter sports are in the rear view, but I want to touch upon a few things that happened this past week. One, 2 athletes will be continuing their athletic careers by signing the National Letter of Intent this week. Walter Santiago will be playing soccer at Lynn University, and Aiden Mulligan will join the track and field team for Merrimack College. Congratulations to you two on advancing your careers. And a congratulations is in order to our lovely Norwood News anchor and state champion, Kristen McDonald. She coached the Braintree High School girls basketball team to their second straight Division I state championship with a win over Springfield Central. Congratulations, coach, and the Braintree girls basketball team. Also, the Norwood gymnastics team made the Boston Globe recently, as Lizzie Broderick was selected to the Boston Globe All-Scholastic Gymnastics team. No doubt an unbelievable accomplishment for Lizzie and the team. So with that, hang in there with me as we're close to returning to action for Mustang sports in just a few weeks. But just a reminder, for all news, including updates on broadcast scheduling and scoring updates, follow MCN on Facebook and Twitter at Norcom Media for all the latest info. Until next week, thank you for watching, and I'll throw it over to the coach to wrap up Norwood News.
Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. In March of last year, the demolition of the Plimpton Press buildings began, and in August, the buildings were torn to the ground. The demolition was the first step in the construction of a new housing development built by Avalon Communities Incorporated. 7 months have passed, and significant progress has been made on the site. Senior Director of Development, Julia Weinard, and Community Manager, Kyra Smith, share some of the developments.
I'm Julia Wynyard. I'm the Senior Director of Development for Avalon Bay in the Boston office.
And I am Kyra Smith, Community Manager of this great project, Avalon Norwood.
So we're standing here at what will be Lenox Street, cutting through our new community. Over across the way is where Plimpton Ave will intersect with this new section of Lenox Street. And then behind me you can see Lenox Street curving around with our townhomes on the right-hand side. And if you were to continue going, you would cut through to the adjacent retail. And then on the left is the beginning of what will be the clubhouse for our new community. Avalon Norwood is 198 units, 42 townhomes, which you can see here, all framed up and now getting sided. And we'll take you through one of those units to see the progress that we've made. And then 156 units in a mid-rise building over here, closer to the train tracks. That's a 4-story elevated building adjacent to our clubhouse and our amenities.
So right now we are standing in the main floor of one of our 3-bedroom townhomes. I am sort of halfway between our kitchen and living room. The kitchen is going to be a beautiful L-shaped with a huge quartz countertop, shaker cabinets. We've got a dining area over here, and the living area, it's huge. You got a ton of windows, lots of natural light. You also have your master bedroom on this level with an ensuite bath and a ton of storage. The total square footage is 1,635. Again, with the master bed on this floor and two secondary bedrooms on the second floor.
Thanks for the update. The full version of the construction update will be available in the upcoming weeks. After a vehicle struck and damaged the outdoor book return at Morrill Memorial Library, Library Director Charlotte Kennelly worked quickly to have it replaced.
We had a borrowed return for about a month. The city of Brookline lent us a small book return, which was wonderful. Our book return was actually damaged. Both of them were a couple months ago during the snow, and one of them had actually been replaced in the last year, as a matter of fact. So we decided on a new 2-book return unit. It has wonderful reflector tape on it so that the snowplows can now avoid it and other cars. Obviously, there's a one-way drive up here, and people just love being able to put their books in the book return and not have to come into the library all weekend long. When we are closed during the summers and various other times, people can just feel safe putting their stuff in the book return.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.